Now, would you say that the neighborhood where you guys lived on Bowman Street, is it your impression that existed primarily because the steel mill was there? Is that a safe assumption? I mean, those people lived there because of being close to the
Right,
mill.
that's how
and
they
a lot of folks came here because of that. And
on that side of town, yeah.
okay,
Mostly everybody there had somebody working in the steel mill.
Okay.
And most of the women did domestic, they caught the bus to go to clean the houses out on the south side of town.
okay,
And you go uptown and you see all these people, all the women catching the bus in front of Martin Hardware because they're going out to do domestic work. And if they come from the north side, all their husbands or, worked at the steel mill.
Well, not all worked.
Not all of them. The steel mill, Ohio Brass, steel mill, Ohio Brass, and Humphreys. Those were the three that hired blacks.
Okay.
Tappan didn't hire too many blacks, and Westinghouse had a few. After the war, after they came home from the war, a lot of them started to get into the places. But
Well, when I first went to Cleveland, I worked at hospital there because those jobs was always open to people, nursing they needed. And that's when I took my license and everything there, apprenticeship license. And I worked there for about 10 years and before I come back to Mansfield. And those were pretty good jobs in a way for girls that needed some jobs because, after all, they needed the girls to work on those jobs like that. And I worked there, and then I come back to Mansfield. I worked at O'Neill's there in 1950. I went in 1950. I was the first black nurse, black clerk they had there. I was the first one. And I worked there, I said 27 years. And I raised my family because my husband died in 1962. And I had 8 kids at the time when he died. We had an old piece of house, no money, but we made it. We still living on Bowman Street there. And the kids all went to school. I don't think they went hungry because they had food, because I worked 2 jobs. Because I worked for Golden Russell's, remember Golden Russell's store would be down there? I used to work at her house, and I used to work at O'Neill's, and I go work one job and leave that and go to another job. I had 2 jobs at one time. I worked so I could get my kids out of school and try to maintain a house.
don't forget to work for them judges on the weekend. They worked serve the parties at the judge's house.
Oh yeah, I served parties and everything. I did everything to make money for that. We used to have, they have parties and things like that. I'd be there to cook. And they'd have some guy would be there. He'd be the take care of the bar.
Mm-hmm.
But we made it, and thank God I did. When I come, first church I went to was on Wayne Street there, the Shadow. And now after I moved on Bowman Street, I moved to Mount Hermon. It's on Harmon Avenue there, and that's where I stayed there a long time. That's where I stayed as secretary of church, and just about everything movable I was there doing. So I just did my part in church, I think, there. And now that I'm here, I'm across the hall, that street there. There's one right there on the corner of Wood and Marion there, called the New Beginnings.
Yeah.
I go there and I enjoy it and everything. We have a woman for our pastor now, and I don't know, everything has just worked out good, I think, for me.
good.
I'm still at Mount Hermon, though.
Okay.
She's still in
Yeah, I started going there when I got baptized at 14 years old there.
Yeah, she.
Well, it was right there at the house. The house was
lived
right.
right in
Sure.
front of her. I used to be there, but
Yeah, she was there. The secretary with Reverend King.
Everything.
Reverend King was there.
Okay.
see, Reverend King and all them things. I got to know the whole King family.
Oh, that's
Martin
great.
Luther and all them.
Yeah, I was going to say, were you there for his visit, and when
Oh,
he
yeah.
visited and he spoke there? Was it
Oh,
just
yes,
the one
uh-huh.
time that he came and spoke? And
Yes, I've been to his home in Georgia too.
Really?
Yes.
I got to get the family real well.
Wow.
His daddy was a pastor, his uncle rather was the pastor of our church.
Right. That's
Yeah, she
great.
knows the whole clan.
Yeah, he got a son in Columbus, which he calls my son almost, but he said he So he comes, I go visit him sometimes.
Nice. Okay.
So it was, well, I don't know about the north end and the people that were there. I mean, they were friendly folks that you met. I mean, there was some that, some people that was, we had some roads and we had some steves and all that there, you know what I mean? I mean, you couldn't leave nothing out, like your garden crews or something, that they folk come through there and take anything and fight all the time. So you got to
Really?
be careful what you laid out because they use all your things for weapons and things like that. So
But everybody knew everybody. You knew every family from there. So whenever, like, you meet somebody and you ask them what their last name was, well, I knew your great-grandfather because you came from the north end. And the people that were instilled in working from the north end, they're still working, like I still work. When I left Westinghouse, I went to nursing school. So I work as a LPN, and I should be retired, but I still got a good case that I do. But I worked at different nursing homes and the hospital. But as the high school, when I come out of high school, my senior year was to be a nurse, and I worked at the hospital as my senior year. But I got married at 17. So I've been married ever since.
Okay.
Well, I
So
said
what-
one thing about all my children, all my girls in the family, most of them are nurse,
Oh.
some kind of way. Because I was a nurse, and I think all of them took to be nurses,
Yeah.
I think. All my grandkids,
Yeah.
they're all nurses. Everybody what live in Detroit. Those are in Buffalo, too. Then I got some down in Tennessee, my grandkids. So,
And Mrs. Lindsay, what year did you graduate from high school?
58.
In 58?
1958.
Okay. I had another question about, I'm really interested in what you were telling me about the, I don't even know how to frame this question. You were saying that sort of the Daisy, Lily, that area, the sort of where O.C. Hill is today, that was primarily a white neighborhood. Did I hear that right? And then, so what, I guess my question is, what prompted, was it the fact that blacks were able to finally get a loan to get a house? I mean, was it a combination of things?
I
What are
think
your-
they
what's your-
had members of their family that come home from the service, and like the one white lady that used to live on Lily Street, I worked with. See, a lot of those women worked at Westinghouse from down there,
Okay.
and they said that when their husbands or their sons came home, they had what they call mustering out pay in the military.
Mhm.
This gave them like $300 to $500 cash money, and a lot of them took that and they bought homes on the east and the west side and the south side of town. A lot of them bought double homes even over there.
Mhm.
Well, that left all these houses down on Lily, Daisy, all up there by Johns Park.
Mhm.
All those houses were left for sale. And how did they sell them? Land contract. You put a couple $100 down and monthly payments. And this is how a lot of people acquired homes. And then there was the group of blacks that were maybe, I'll say 3 or 4 years older than me, that had come out of school, and Shelby Depot, military government job, was hiring, and they hired blacks. They didn't make no difference in who got hired over in those jobs.
Mhm.
So a lot of the people that are right now, I'll say they're between 75 and 80 years old, they got jobs over there. And we sit on the porch on Bowman Street, and you see the trail of people coming from Shelby, driving, and they were all young black people getting started. They got themselves on their feet, and then a lot of them moved away because they got promoted on their jobs. I didn't know what GS-15 or GS whatever that is, but they got promoted on jobs, and they moved away from Mansfield. So they lost lost that working class of people that were moving up. So what was left here was elderly people, and then the new generation, in my generation, which a lot of our class have moved away. And my sister graduated a year after me. She had the largest class that graduated from Mansfield Senior High, and they had the first black valedictorian
Okay.
in her class.
No.
And that they had a large class. and that was a class of 59.
59. Now, was that
That might have been Beverly Klein.
Beverly Klein's sister?
Yeah,
Forget her
Karen
name.
Klein.
Karen Klein. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
the largest black class to ever graduated.
Okay.
My sister was in that class.
Do you remember about how many people at all?
I think it was right around 600. Yeah. And then right after that, like I say, people started moving out and away, and the amount of kids coming out of school started to drop.
Mm-hmm.
And then, kids got in the Madison area, and then they, was it 63 Malabar opened up? 64? Something like that.
Something
Eugene
like
was in
that.
that class.
63.
That's Jeff Payton's class.
Okay.
Okay, that broke senior high in half for a graduating class. See, and so that class amount
Makes
went
sense.
down.
Yeah.
See, that separated the whole town in half.
Interesting.
Then wait. When my kids went to school, we live over there on, like I say, on the east side. My oldest girl was in, my oldest boy was going to senior high. By the time my third kid, which is only 10 months behind my second kid, got ready to graduate, they changed the district, and he had to go to Malabar to graduate, to go to school. Well, now I can't have, my daughter's graduating from senior high, and I said, we can't have two schools, so you're going to have to go to Malabar. That's it. So she graduated from Malabar, which to this day, she had such a, it was just a mess.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a mess. She just couldn't get along with the girls over there, and right now she lives in Columbus. She says she just hates them.
Yeah.
But she graduated from Malabar, and my son did. My oldest one did senior high. So after that, everybody went to Malabar. My younger ones, I pulled them out of Malabar and I put them in St. Pete's.
Okay.
So that's where they went.
Yeah.
So, what were the stores and restaurants in the neighborhood that y'all would go to?
Restaurants in this neighborhood,
North End?
as I said, there was just those bars down there. They sold food and everything. Because and then at the time, the Steel Mill had a gate about middle ways there, and the guys would come over there and eat and everything, and they'd eat and they drink and go back to work and things like that. And so as far as other more restaurants, I said there's one that Joe, they had that hotel out there, and they had a little restaurant in there and a little bar too. So I said most of on that end was nothing but bars, all the way down the street, all the way down to a little.
Yeah, on Lewis Avenue, I said Papa Johnny opened up a little bar, and he had an apartment in there, but he had a little bar. And then around the corner was Ebony Bar. And then you go up the street a little further, and it was up there on the corner of Grandview was Beulah Faye's Bar. Now that's from Longview on back, those were all bars. And that's all there was. But the bars on the corner, like the one on the corner of Lewis Avenue, see, the bars were all connected. They're just one boom.
Mm-hmm.
The one on the corner, the Glad Hand, we call it, because he was a school teacher or something, man, to own that. He sold donuts in the morning, and the bus stopped on the corner of Lewis Avenue so we could go in and get donuts. But then all the steel mill guys come in there to get donuts and coffee before they went to work, and then he sold sandwiches at lunch and stuff. And then the first bar that was right almost by our house, I guess they all sold sandwiches, and that's why they were there. They were there to accommodate the steel mill people, and everybody came out to.
But things were so much cheaper.
Yeah.
Than,
Sure.
I mean, folks could afford to.
Yeah, you
to
get two
good
donuts for a
meals,
nickel.
Good meal and things like
So
that too.
you know.
Yeah.
So that, and then like I say, and then Ebony Bar, he turned his area into a little grocery store, Will Heights, and that way you didn't have to go too far because the next grocery store was up on the corner of Longview.
Lumpkin, Mr. Lumpkin had
Well,
a
Mr. Lumpkin had a little store there,
delicatessen store. He
Yeah.
had little stuff.
but up on the corner of Longview was what's the name of that bar? I mean that store.
There's a store, but
You know, it's a grocery store.
Yeah, I know what which one's talking.
Oh, that was a long walk, see, to go to Longview to go to
Yeah.
the store.
Yes, it's
Oh,
closest
everybody knew that man's name.
That's what I'm too.
Yeah, that was just like a big supermarket, really.
Really?
I can't think of the man's name that ran it. But they were there for years. Yeah, so this right now is where Papa Johnny has a drive-through over there.
Everything has changed. They done
Yeah.
tore the whole street up.
Now, is that the same Papa Johnny that you mentioned that had the bar? I mean, is this
Yeah,
the
that
same?
was his dad. His granddad was Papa Johnny.
Okay.
And then we call him Papa Johnny because of his granddad. That's
Okay,
why.
'cause I wondered. I'm like, this guy must be he must be up there if he's.
So his granddad is the one that built this. There was a really nice little bar there on
He owned most of the houses around
yeah,
there.
he owned quite a few
Everything.
houses and everything.
Okay.
And so when he passed away, he owned quite a few houses around there. I mean, he was really an old man, but that's his grandson, and so he just kind of like took over there.
Now, what about the what I've heard called the flats, like up Main Street and that?
That's
I mean,
down 6th Street.
Down
remember?
6th Street,
Yeah.
downtown.
flats.
any memories of that? Any thoughts?
Well,
on?
they had a lot of bars down there now.
Uh-huh.
They had the Cotton Club, and they had the Hollywood, and the Blue Note, Pink Swan. I need to wear my T-shirt because all the black kids that graduated from senior high from, say, as far back as 1950, we have a reunion because, like in my graduating class, we only had 11 boys and 22 girls, and you could not bring an outside guest. See, so that's kind of bad. You don't have that's all in the whole class out of about 500 kids. That's all you got black in the school. See, it's so opposite now.
Yeah.
Because this is predominantly black, but there's very few blacks that, in fact, very few blacks graduated, especially guys, because they really had to get out there and work. You know, families didn't have much money, and you could get into the steel mill at 16. You can get into some of them places that would hire you at 16. Hey, to make money, why go to school? You know, that's what they did. So I just remember our class there, and then my sister's class. They had a lot more going, and so they had a bigger reunion. Well, we have this reunion every 2 years, and we have the T-shirts, and it's got all the places that we used to go to. I mean, all right, Friendly House. Wednesday night, Friendly House was for blacks. That's when you can go to Friendly House to dance. Friendly House dances, and you can go to the skating rink on Monday night. That's for blacks only. And then the rest of the time you couldn't go there. And so those are the only two places you had to go. The bowling alley uptown, the Colony Bowling Alley, I think later they started having black leagues up there, the upsetters and cast outs.
Now, whereabouts was that?
The bowling alley was on, I can't say the name of the street. It's right across the street from the library.
Oh, on
Right
Third.
across the
Is
street
that
on
Third
Third.
Street?
Yeah.
Oh, really? It was
all
right
that
directly across the street.
Directly. Those places that are there, that was the bowling alley, Colony Bowling Alley.
It was different. It was the same buildings.
The same identical building.
Really?
Because I always wonder, what did they do with all those alleys was there?
Yeah.
And my husband, because when he was a teenager, they used to set pins. You know, they had to set the pins up. You know, it wasn't automatic. But that's how the boys made money to go to the skating rink on Monday night. They'd go up there and set the pins up because it didn't rack. You had to rack them up yourself.
Yeah.
And I used to bowl in the Upsetters League. But they had two leagues that would, and that's when after I got married. But that was the only entertainment. Now you look at Mansfield now, none of those places are here. There's no skating rink, there's no bowling alley, and there's no dances at the Friendly House for the kids. So, no, I mean, for the young black kids, and if you go out Bowman Street, down Johns Park got to be horror place because there was so many people. You go up there and you see 200 kids up there, teenagers, and some were fighting, some were gambling, and it got to the point you were afraid to take your kids up there just to swing.
Yeah, jeez.
But my girlfriend lives right across the street from it, and it's just like, I used to go over her house, I said, boy, this is a sideshow over here, you know? And that's how much the people were there. And I mean, so then they started policing the area, trying to stop kids from hanging up there so much, because it got to be dangerous. those were not little kids. Those were teenagers, dope guys, gang, and they had fights and stuff.